Hi, welcome to another Derek Does. Today, we're going to do this. This is my newest machine I just literally got. This is a Union Special 39200. Now you might have seen a previous video I did of a Union Special 39200, but it was a special Levi's machine. This machine, and you watched me, I kind of showed you when I got it, cleaning it up, getting it going, and that it actually does so. That's on a previous video, check it out if you're into that sort of thing. Union Special made many different styles of overlock machines. This is the second generation of the Union Special overlock machine. The first generation was more of a flatbed kind of system. Then the 39200s came out, and then also from this they made the 43200 hemming machines and the chain stitch machines and different things like that. It's kind of in the same body style build, but this is the 39200. This one's the 39200J, and this is from the Levi's factory from the 1940s. I picked up this machine this week. I got it shipped to me. This is a 39200J. Same machine. So guess what? I'm going to be selling this one. So if you're really interested in owning a piece of Levi's history, this is a machine to have. Or if you're a maker and you want a 39200, there's not many Levi's 39200 machines out there that I'm aware of from the Levi's factory that have the sticker showing that it actually is from the factory. And then this would have made all the jeans in the 40s and 50s and maybe even to the 60s. I don't know, they probably went with the next generation, the third generation of the overlocks that Union came out with. But we're not talking about this machine, we're talking about this machine. So we're back to this machine. Now, if before I begin, if you like this sort of content, please subscribe. I've got a ton of machines, but I also do other stuff, vintage guy stuff. Check it out, from clothing to even baking to all sorts of stuff. It's out there. So appreciate all the subscribers I have now, and would love to get some more. So let's talk about this. Again, this is a 39200J. And J means that it was made for overlocking trousers, heavier things, heavier weight fabric, not like super heavyweight, not like carpeting or something like that, but also not like underwear and shirts. This is a heavier duty machine. I got this machine, and this is what, when you find a machine and you get it shipped, or let's say you're at a place and there's in the back room, they've got a machine or two, they're gonna look like this. The great thing about this machine is it wasn't out in the elements. You don't want a machine that's all rusty, that's been in the elements, because you don't know, obviously the person who put it away didn't care about the machine and just set it out there, and then over time it just gets ruined and parts inside get ruined. And also it could have been a machine that something broke inside, and so they just set it out because they didn't care about it. But when you find a machine like this, that even though it's dirty, it's got stuff all over it, it isn't a bad machine. It's a machine that they probably just put away and kind of forgot about it, and 30 years later you find it, and here it is. So this machine actually came out of North Carolina, I believe. This belonged to a seamstress. Actually, I got it from the guy's grandmother. This was her machine, and apparently the story is she made sample clothes for for Sears. So for the Sears catalog, probably back in, you know, the 50s and such, she would make the sample clothing that then the Sears reps would look at and see if they wanted that produced for probably all the mills and everything down there in North Carolina in that area. So this was her personal machine, and apparently she passed away, and then she gave it to her daughter, and then she passed away, and then the grandson had it. And the grandson is older than I am. He didn't know what to do with it. He didn't want to scrap it. I saw it. It was a very kind of cryptic ad I saw. That a lot of times you see these cryptic ads and you're like, ooh, sewing machine, you know, and that's all it says. And then you find out, and they're like, oh, and then you say, can you send a picture? And then they're like, oh my gosh, I know what that machine is. So it's a really cool machine. And again, it is in really great condition, as you can see. I haven't even touched this yet, so I was kind of waiting to do a video on it. I'm just going to do kind of a wipe down. I see that it looks like there's all this kind of build up, and basically it looks like they put some sort of padding, maybe a carpet padding, underneath the base and the machine, probably just to help with vibrations and make it quieter. And they also have this really cool, and I'll show you on close-ups, knee lifter that has it, and then it attaches here. So I've never had a 39200 with this setup. I think this is kind of like a setup for a 43200. I've never had a 43200. I've never been lucky enough to find one. But I'll show you this machine before I do any cleaning on it, and then I'll clean it, and hopefully I'll have it so that you can kind of see what it is when it's all cleaned up a little bit. Again, this is going to be my machine. I'm going to sell the Levi's machine because I don't need two 39200s. I was going to use a Singer 81 series, and I have a couple of those, but I don't have, I used to have an old 81-72, I think it was, which was basically the Singer version of this for a heavier weight. It's for pockets and denim and that sort of thing. But I'll give you kind of an overall of this, and you can kind of see it may look rough right now, but it really isn't. I've seen a lot worse machines than this, and this is just basically a machine that has been put away and time has left its mark on it, but it hasn't destroyed it or ruined it. Another great thing that you can see here, and I'll show you on close-ups, this machine is still threaded up. That is a huge sign that this machine is still a good machine, which means they just kind of just put it away, and that was it. All right, so here's the machine. And as you can see, this is the material, kind of like this carpet padding I was talking about that's between the machine and the base. And if you look right here, it still says Union Special. It's just the, once I clean it up, you'll be able to see it a little bit better. It's just the actual gold decal has worn away, I guess, over time. As you can see, it's like nothing is wrong with this machine. It still has its oil pieces here, nothing's broken off here. The original Union Special dated to the machine for tension. I'm not going to mess with that because the tension's probably set perfectly. You got an oiler here. Spins great, I mean, nice and smooth. Although I think I'm going backwards on that. This is that knee lifter. I'll put this out to the edge and you can see how that works. Here's the front. Here, I'm going to scoot that. And you can see, you know, it's still, it was used. It was totally used because this is really worn away. Not really worn away, but it's worn away enough that you can tell it's used. The pieces all here. It's just a sweet machine. You can see this carpeting or something. I'm going to pull all that out because I don't want carpeting, some oil-soaked carpeting underneath it. Now, when I bought the machine, I couldn't get the whole thing because shipping was just, it'd be way too much on the table. It wasn't an old table. It was actually a converted, I think it was a converted domestic old cast iron table that they had put this on, I guess for space, which, you know, that's what people do. But it came with the machine, but it also had this piece, which I love. I had this on my old 39200 before I sold it. I had original everything on it, but like a fool, I sold it. But as you can see, this piece actually will, when the machine's set into the table, this would come and it's on a hinge. And that's the original Union Special part. For some reason, they wrote one looper. What is that? Another, I can't read that one. And then one needle. They wrote all this on this, I don't know. it has a little piece here that's for your finger to reach in there to lift it up. But they also came with this little piece of metal that actually fits like that. So when you're doing your work, it actually has a whole piece that goes out that way. And then it also came with a belt, and actually a Singer that they had done 2 of them, which I've done that many times. I've used these old Singers. You double them up on your Singer post here, and then you actually have a 4-thread. Although this one, you only need 3, but you would have a 4-thread set up this way, which is pretty common. And then also this homemade little chute that would be underneath it. He just sent it along. I didn't ask for it, but I don't know if I can use that or not. Maybe if I cut the table up for it to work. But so this is the machine, and this is going to be like kind of the before shots, I guess. And then I'm going to clean up. I'm not going to go through the whole thing with you how to clean it up. That was kind of in the Levi, kind of how I did that. If you're interested, you can watch that, how to clean up a sewing machine. But I'm just going to show you now. I'll do a little cleanup, little prep. I won't go crazy on it, but then I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. All right, so I did a little bit of cleaning on this machine, and I discovered a couple things about this machine just from visually looking at it and seeing a couple things. One, the machine is great. It's in fantastic condition, but the reason that we can't see the Union Special here is because it had a black overspray on it at one time in its life that you can actually see here on the metal pieces here. And there's actually even a run. I'll do a close-up of that so you can see that there's actually a run in the paint. This machine was probably part of a factory, obviously because that lady worked there making samples for everything. And usually what I've discovered in just collecting of these sort of things is when I talk to people, a lot of the machines that you'll find just at someone's house is a person that worked at a factory and that sort of thing. And then when that, usually a lady, retired, she could get her run of the machines. Whatever machine you wanted, you can. That's kind of like your golden watch at the end. And I think this is what this machine was, because it has a couple of things that I've never seen on a machine. Is the serial number has been ground away, almost like it's some sort of revolver, you buy on the streets. But I cleaned this up for the most part. I'm going to come back and I'll do a thorough cleaning, taking it all apart. I haven't oiled this at all. I'll oil this after I clean it up, just so I don't have oil all over everything. But I'll go through and I'll show, and I showed you in the previous video how I oil and that sort of thing. I go pretty crazy on it. So here's the machine. As you can see, all the gunk's gone pretty much. I've taken it apart. It's all Union. They do have a, if you can see there, that is for oil drips to come out. And what they did on the base plate is, I've never seen this either, they actually welded, I don't know if you can see that, they welded a lid jar to it, which would be, I have a jar, hang on a second. So I picked up this jar. This is just, I forget what it had, like spices or something in it. And they're pretty universal. Almost. Needs to be just a little shorter or a little smaller. Almost fits. I thought maybe I could use that as my collect oil. That's basically, this is what this was for. So what they did is they took this piece of iron, which I don't think is like homemade, and they pounded it. This is an old Singer, because it's got a 2 number on it. That's a Singer, and then they put it on here, and then on the end of it, they put this bolt, and you can actually see that. See how that's a threaded bolt that then would hook to your lifter, and then with your knee you can move it, and it moves your lifter up and down. It did have a piece of this fabric, some sort of padding that went all the way around between the two, I guess, just to give it some padding. I have, what I've used in the past, I don't have it right here. Oh yeah, I do. What I've used in the past, I bought a big thing of cork, like a roll of cork, and I've used this a bunch on different machines as kind of a padding when it's on a base, just to hold it better so it doesn't wiggle around, and also you get a nice tight fit, and you also don't get that really yucky, oily mess that you get with padding that they used on this machine. So this is going to be a two-parter, I think. This is going to be like the first part, showing you the machine, how it is. Then I'll come through and I'll give it a really thorough cleaning, oil and all that stuff. And then I'm going to hook it up. And then I'm going to show you on the next video it's sewing, because I have no doubt this thing sews. It was already threaded up. The needle's still good. It's nice and smooth. I mean, this has been sitting a long time, and it's nice and smooth as is without me even oiling it. I have not even put a drop of oil into this machine. So, and there's like no rust anywhere. It just was really well kept, especially in North Carolina, where you think you get a lot of humidity, that sort of thing that would affect the metal and that sort of thing, but it didn't. So I'm going to take it apart, really give it a good cleaning, and then on the next video I will show you how it's set up and how it sews. So I'm going to see you on the next video. Thanks for subscribing, and if you haven't, please do click like and give me your thoughts on this. And if you find something cool, or if you're looking at something, let me know. Maybe I can help you out. If you're like, hey, what's this model? I have a lot of information on this sort of thing, and maybe I can help you get the machine that you're looking for. All right, I'll see you next time on Derek Does.